This review will contain spoilers for Civil War. Civil War currently has an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has actually gone down compared to closer when it came out. It was really interesting to see the idea of what journalism looked like in a futuristic, apocalyptic style environment. This movie was very interesting because it didn't really have a protagonist that I particularly loved. I think the character I liked the most was Joel. He wasn't even taking pictures, he didn't even have a camera. I thought Lee's character was pretty realistic though. She had seen some crazy things in her time, and it was believable why she was kind of negative and pessimistic. I was expecting to like Jessie more, but I think she was just too reckless for me to love her as the protagonist. Her most reckless move though definitely led to probably the best scene of the entire movie with Jesse Plemons.
How can that be profitable for Frito-Lay?
This film's runtime is just a little under 2 hours, which it is somewhat rare to have films be under 2 hours nowadays, feels like, but I think this movie did the most it could with the runtime. I didn't feel like it needed any more time, especially near the end when they're storming the Capitol. I felt like it was getting kind of slow. I felt like we were kind of just powering through, like, just make it to the end, see the president. I think any more time would have been unnecessary. It was set up pretty early on that Kirsten Dunst's character was going to die trying to save the younger girl. It was an interesting parallel of what Lee was probably like when she was younger, very excited to just get out in the field and take pictures. It was also an interesting example of what Jessie was willing to do as a journalist, to the point of taking photos of her mentor dying, trying to save her. Jessie had a slow ramp up to this though. She didn't start off that way in the film, and throughout the film it was believable that she would become that way more. I honestly didn't walk out of the movie theater loving this film. It had a good balance of action and politics, and felt like there was room for the film to breathe throughout. Like when they were in the shop buying clothes, like I feel like we had an ample amount of time with the characters to care about them as much as we could, or as much as I probably was going to, no matter what. I don't know, I would be willing to watch this movie again. It did make me think about the impact of journalism and the moral standings of it. How can people just take pictures and not do anything about it? The movie definitely hits on that point, especially in the gas station scene. I went to go see this movie with a friend, and she has more knowledge of current political events that I don't have, so this movie resonated with her a lot more. She really liked the parallels between the movie and real world politics. This movie was visually great, makes sense for an A24 film. There wasn't anything that was too elaborate for what it was, being like a futuristic situation. It felt visually grounded. At times it gave me Zombieland vibes. It was kind of interesting to watch a movie like this where the characters weren't at risk of zombies jumping out at them all the time. I gave this movie a 3 out of 5 stars on my Letterboxd. It was an interesting film because I didn't walk out of the theater being like, yeah, that was a great film, or even like, yeah, that was a terrible film. I kind of landed in the middle and honestly had to process for a while. I was tempted to give it a higher score, but ended up with a 3 out of 5. I would definitely watch this movie again, but probably when it comes out on streaming, not anytime soon.